Hi, third grade. I hope you had a restful weekend. Let's get started. Okay, so remember we were learning about unit fractions and how to read them? So the top number in the unit fraction, we just say the number like a regular number 1. But the bottom number, we have to say it like an ordinal number, like 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, okay? Not like with the, it has a TH usually, okay, for most of them. Also recall how to say the fraction of parts. So there are 2 red parts, there are 3 yellow parts, and there are 5 total parts. To say a fraction of the red part, we want to put the red parts at the top and the total at the bottom. And always we put the total number of parts at the bottom, and that would be 2 at the top and 5 at the bottom, and we say it as 2/5, right? And in this fraction, the shaded part is 2/3, and we also learned that the numerator is the top number, the denominator is the bottom number. Okay? All right. So let's talk about equivalent fractions. Look at this example while I move my little video screen at the top. Okay? So we have one whole, okay? And here we have another bar model, but this bar model also is the same size as the one whole, okay? And so, but it's divided into 2 parts. Do you see that? And so this is one half, and then this is another half. And so we know that 1/2 plus 1/2 is one whole, because when I add this and this, it's the same size as this one whole. Let's look at this picture. So we have the same size bar model as the one whole, but it's divided into 4 parts. Do you see that? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so this is 1/4. This here is 1/4. This here is 1/4. This here is 1/4. So then you know that this 1/4 plus this 1/4 plus this 1/4 plus this 1/4 makes one whole because it's the same size as this one whole. All right, let's look here. Now we have the same bar model as the one whole, and it's divided into 8 parts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Notice that the denominator has an 8 because that's the total number of parts. The numerator is just talking about that one part that it's in, okay? The numerator. So my addition sentence is 1/8 plus 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 1/8 makes one whole. Okay? All right, but let's look at the same models in another way. So let's look at this 1/2 here, okay? And I'm just gonna focus on this 1/2 in this bar model. I'm not talking about both of these. I'm talking about just the first half here. So 1/2. So this blue box represents 1/2, okay? And now take a look here. What else here represents the same size as 1/2? Oh, it's this blue box here, right? It's the same size as 1/2. So you know that 1/4 plus 1/4 is 2/4, right? Because this is 1/4 and then you add another 1/4 and that's 2/4. You can also think about what's the fraction of the green here, and that would be there's 2 greens out of the total 4 parts, okay? And you know then 2/4 is equal to 1/2 here, because this is the same thing as that. Let's look here. Okay? So can you find the parts of this model at the bottom where it's the same size as 1/2? Yeah, it's here, right? I see that this here is the same size as 1/2, and that's 1/8 plus 1/8 plus 1/8 plus 1/8, which is 4/8, because we're talking about the orange, and then so there's 4 parts that are orange, and then 4 parts that are orange, and then 8 total parts here. Okay? And you know that 4/8 is the same thing as 1/2. It's the same size, right? It's the same representation as 1/2. So you see that 2/4 is equal to 1/2. You also see that 4/8 is equal to 1/2. So 1/2, 2/4, and 4/8 are called equivalent fractions. Equivalent fractions are 2 or more fractions that name the same parts of the whole, right? So this is the same parts of this piece. These pieces are the same parts as this piece. Okay? All right, let's try another example together. And I don't know if I can move it down yet. All right, yes I can. So let's take a look here. Okay, so we're going to find an equivalent fraction of 2/5. So in here, I see that the total amount is 5 parts in that bar model at the top here. Okay, so I put it in the denominator, which is the bottom part, and then I'm looking at 2, which represents the yellow parts here, right? There's 2 parts yellow, so I write that in the numerator, which is the top part. Now here, which parts are equal to these yellow parts here? Okay. Now before we do that, we're gonna find the total. We're gonna always write the total, and the total is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 parts in this bar model are the total parts. So you put it in the denominator, which is the bottom. Okay. Can you figure out what we put in the numerator? We put what represents the same as these yellow parts here, which are these red parts. And so that is 4. Okay? And let's look at the third picture here. Okay, so that's the whole. And how many parts are in this whole? Well, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, so there's 15 total parts. And I see that the blue is the same as the yellow. Okay, and that is 6 parts total of blue. So I know that an equivalent fraction of 2/5 is 4/10 and 6/15. Alright, now it's your turn. Please pause the video and try this on your own. Hi again. Alright, so let's take a look. It says to find the equivalent fraction. So here I have 1, 2, 3 total pieces, 3 total parts, so that's in the denominator, and 2 is shaded here, so that's in the numerator. Now here, I see these green shaded parts is the same as these blue shaded parts, and they already gave us a 6 as the denominator. How do we know that it's 6 in the denominator here? Yeah, because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 total parts, so that's why it's in the denominator. And what do we put in the numerator? Well, we put the number of blue parts, which is 4. Let's look at number 2. So I notice that my denominator here is 9. Why? Because the total parts are 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. What do I put in the numerator? In the numerator, I'm going to put the red, because the red is the same size as the green put together. Okay? And so that's 6. So I see that 2/3, 4/6, and 6/9 are all equivalent fractions. Woo, radical! right, you try this on your own, okay? This is our last one for today. I'll see you soon. Okay, hey, once you're ready, let's try this. So, all of these pictures here, all of these models, and that's not a bar, I guess you can call it a circle model, because it's not a bar model, it's maybe a circle model. And see the shaded size is the same, right? But the number of parts in each shaded size is different, okay? That means that these are equivalent, right? The shaded parts. Okay, so here I have 1/3, and they put 1 because that is the yellow part, and 3 in the denominator because there's 3 total pieces, is equal to, and how come they put 6 in the denominator here for this model? Because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 total parts. What do I put in the numerator? I put 2 because that's the total number of shaded parts. And then let's look at this model here. Okay, how come they wrote 3 in the numerator? Because it's in the top, and the top specifies the shaded parts here, and there's 3. What do I put in the denominator? I have to put the total number of parts, right? Okay, and that is 9. And now let's look at this last figure here. What do I put in the numerator? What do I put in the denominator? Well, if you said 4/12, you're right, because 4 is the shaded parts, and then 12 is the total parts in this model. And you can see that 1/3 is equivalent to 2/6, which is equivalent to 3/9, which is equivalent to 4/12. Okay? Because they all show the same parts of the whole. Right? It's the same size. Even though there's the shaded parts might be divided differently. Okay? Alright, well that's all for today, and I want you to keep practicing by doing your homework, and please enjoy the rest of your day. Get some rest if you need to. Bye!